I know what a nanny is, but like what is it? You know what I mean? Hey y'all, if you're new here, I'm April.Kristine. Welcome to my channel. If you're not new here, hey boo, I see you coming back. If you're wondering, girl, what are you doing? What are we doing today? I am just going to sit down and do like a chatty get ready with me. We're going to talk about all of the jobs that I've had in my lifetime. I am 28, but I've been working since I was 15. I will get into the story as to why we're here, but if you're new here or you're lurking, because I see you that you're here every Wednesday, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot. You guys staying, commenting, liking, interacting, subscribing, all of that stuff really helps my channel grow. It helps YouTube serve my content to other people who might like it, and that's how the channel grows, just by you guys interacting with me. And it's completely free, and we're here every Wednesday, so I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Let's jump into it. All right, y'all, I'm going to take off my glasses, put my hair up. I was thinking the other day, I really kind of want to get a job. I mean, we all live in the same economy, right? Like, things are getting so expensive, and Horace and I, we're comfortable. Like, we live a pretty comfortable lifestyle, but I just feel like there's no reason for me not to be working now. I don't even know how to start this video. We're gonna talk about all my jobs. Maybe we'll talk about all my jobs first and then get into why I'm not working now and what happened. This is not like a makeup tutorial. I'm not going to be showing you and telling you everything that I'm doing because I'm not a beauty guru, but I'm just gonna beat my face and we're gonna chat. So I was thinking about getting a job, and that's why I was like, I really want to talk to you guys about it. And I just really, partially because YouTube is very, like, I can just be myself and tell you guys what I'm thinking, and you'll bounce ideas back to me. So that's really helpful for me. I was thinking, those of you who met me on YouTube, I've never, other than the first few videos about me, I don't really talk about myself. Like, I do to the extent of like what's happening now, but you don't know who I was before YouTube. So I feel like we should get to know each other a little more, you know? Where did I work? What did I do? How did I end up in San Antonio? So that's part of what got me thinking, like, you guys don't even know me for real. Like, you just know me for play, you know what I mean? And that's very true for a lot of you who are from my hometown or follow me because you know me previously. I moved to San Antonio and kind of just didn't inform anybody as to what I was doing or where I was working. Like, you guys literally have no idea what happened to me after high school. So I was like, we should probably get into it. And like, where did Horace come from? He's from Alabama, like all of these things. And if you don't know where my husband came from or how we met, I do have a video up on my channel that you guys really enjoy, and I will link it here. Yeah, that's how this idea came to mind. So I don't know why I was so anxious to work as a kid. Like, I just have always been very independent and wanted my own things and wanted to spend my money the way I wanted to spend my money. So I got a job. The only place you could work at 15 was McDonald's. So I worked at McDonald's for, I don't know how long I was there, honestly. I know I started when I was 15. I think I had left before my brother passed away. Probably was there for like a year. At McDonald's, I would obviously like take orders and things like that. Well, one night we had this closing crew. Since that was the only place you could work at 15, like a bunch of people I went to school with worked there with me. So we would all close together. It was such a blast. It was like kids being kids. We would have like water fights after we closed. We mopped the entire store, and then we would like throw water at each other. It was completely problematic. Well, one night we're closing and I am, for whatever reason, cleaning out the fryers where you put the french fries, the french fry fryers. I don't know what the you call it. I mean, I don't know what you call that, but I'm cleaning it out, right? I'm cleaning the pieces on it, and I splash grease all along the side of my body. Like, just splash it on my body. Everybody's freaking out, right? So I am rushed to the bathroom, take off all my clothes. They give me like this burn cream stuff to put on. My mom comes, she's freaking out. She drives me to Fredericksburg, which is like probably like 15 minutes away from Kerrville. It's another very small town. If you know, you know, you know? So we drove to Fredericksburg. Meanwhile, I have 2nd-degree burns along my body. The people in the emergency room tell me that I have 2nd-degree burns. They give me this ointment, and yeah, I have 0 scars from any of it. It was just an experience at 15. I remember when they called me to tell me that my nephew was being born, my brother's son, I like hurried and left, and I was at work when that happened, and that's the last memory I have of being at McDonald's. While I'm telling you this story, let me just say first and foremost, like, most of the things you you guys know about me is like obviously my life now and my husband and my kids, and obviously you guys know about my brother, but I don't have a lot of memories from around that time in my life. But I think that's just like my brain's way of being like, you don't need to go there, sis, you know what I mean? I think it's just my brain's way of keeping me safe. So that's the last memory I have working at McDonald's. So then after I left McDonald's, I do remember working at JCPenney's for a hot second, and I worked with one of my really good friends there. I was such a teenager and I had literally no bills, no responsibilities. Like I was just living my best life.
Living my life.
Going to work just because I could. So every payday, my friend and I, we would shop at JCPenney's because we got discounts. So every paycheck, all of my paycheck would just go to clothes. It was ridiculous. So I worked at JCPenney's for a hot second. And I think after JCPenney's, I didn't work anymore. Yeah, I know I did driving school. So I think between driving school and then regular school and then working, I think I just didn't do it. Oh, after JCPenney's is when my brother passed away. So then obviously I was barely human at that point. So I didn't have a job. I wasn't doing anything but going to school. I did go get my driver's license. The last few years of high school were obviously really hard for me. After high school, after graduation, I was applying to college. And part of that is because I have a counselor who was my counselor literally from elementary school to high school. Like we had this same counselor throughout the entire time, and that's not everybody, that was just me and my brother. She just so happened to be at the same schools we were at the entire time we were there. So she was obviously seeing how my life was affecting me and knew I needed some sort of something. I needed something to look forward to, obviously. So she pushed really hard for me to go to college. Now I have my own thoughts and feelings about college. We can get into that in a different video. We don't have to get into it now. At the time, I understand it's what I needed. I understand 100,000% that's what I needed, was to get out of town, go to college, and do something completely different. So that's what I did. So I had moved over the summertime, and my mom didn't want me to go to college by myself. I mean, I understand she was in a position to where, you know, she had just lost my brother. It would have been hard for me to leave to college, and you know, I understand. So she, my sister, and my dad all packed up and we all moved to San Antonio. When I started school, I think it was important for me because it was the first time that nobody knew my story and I could just be literally whoever I wanted to be. College was an experience for me. I had so much fun. I went to a private college and it was very expensive. I did have a scholarship, but not nearly enough to cover my entire tuition. Okay, so when you're in college, the first, like your freshman, sophomore years, everybody's like, oh, FAFSA will pay for everything. And it does. FAFSA pays for everything. On top of your, you know, scholarships or whatever it is that you have, they pay for everything. But what people don't tell you is the further you go along in school, your money will start to run out your junior, senior year of college, especially when you're going to a private school. So I have a bachelor's of science in kinesiology. If you didn't know that, I do have a bachelor's degree. It is a very expensive piece of paper that collects dust in my closet over here. But my junior year, when money started running out, I had to get a job. I didn't have anybody to pay for my college. I didn't have anybody to ask for help because, I mean, we grew up with everything that we needed, but we by no means had like private college tuition money. We were a very middle class family, but I'm the type of person who, once I start something, like that's the only option. Leaving college was never an option for me. At that time, they tell you like, you have to go to college, you have to get a degree, you have to do all of this to make a decent amount of money. And once you are done with college, you're gonna be in a position to where you can pay off all of these thousands and thousands of dollars of loans and you'll be fine, right? That's what they tell you. I winded up moving out of my parents' house and I moved into my first apartment with my best friend Bonique, and I was working at the Dollar General. So I worked at the Dollar General up the street from my parents' house for a hot second. It was super convenient because it was right down the street. Like the hours were super convenient. Obviously, you're not doing anything crazy. So that was a fun experience while it happened. I love the people that I worked with. It was just really fun. I did that for a while. But then I moved out into a house with Bonique. So I'm not only paying for college, I'm also paying rent, utilities, electric. So I am either at school or at work. Like there's zero in between time for me. So I'm busting my butt at Dollar General, obviously making minimum wage like $7 an hour at that point. I remember living at the apartment. And so in high school, I was in choir. I was a choir kid. I was I loved music. The community that we built just around music is till this day some of the best connections I've ever made with people. I absolutely adore the community that we built together. Like, so I got a phone call from a girl I went to high school with, and she's like, oh my God, I completely forgot you were here. I think you would be absolutely perfect. I'm a nanny. And I was like, what the hell is a nanny? I know what a nanny is, but like, what is it? You know what I mean? She said she's a private nanny for this family, but she was like moving or something. Like, for whatever reason, she wasn't gonna be able to stay with them, and she was looking for somebody to fill her position. And I was like, oh, fun. I can definitely take care of kids. Like, freaking love kids. And I'm super patient. I'm in college. The schedule was amazing, and I would be making double what I was making at the Dollar General. So I was like, let's do it. I'll never forget going to their house and meeting the kids for the first time. We just like instantly clicked. I just loved them so much from that day. They called me back that same night and offered me the position. At the time they were 8 and 10, there was 2 of them. They were in elementary school, and really all I needed to do was pick them up from school, get them home, make sure they're doing their homework. I would do my homework while they were doing their homework. And I was a nanny for this one family for, was it 8 years? And that's what I had been doing for the entire time that I was here. So I never told anybody what I was doing, just because, I mean, I didn't really share my life that much on the internet, and I also didn't want to share their life on the internet. So yeah, at first they were 8 and 10. We did a lot of like extracurricular activities over the summertime. I went to Galveston with them one year for our spring break. That's where Horace and I's journey started, while I was in Galveston with them. They had like season passes to Fiesta, Texas. We would go do that. We would go to like to the library or karate practice. They were like in piano for a while. Anything that a mom would do now with like super busy, active kids, that's what I did. And I freaking loved it so much. Not only did I love the kids, I love their parents. Till this day, like, that is my second family. Like, all of them together, I love them so freaking much. And those children, like, there's nothing that I would not do for those kids. And I tell the youngest to this day, like, that was my first experience as to what I'm doing now with my own. Like, that was my first child. Like, I love them so freaking much. That's what I was doing while I was in college, and it was the best experience you could possibly imagine. I absolutely loved my job. I got to do really fun, cool stuff. I was making the money I need to make to put myself through college. It was just the best possible situation. Yeah, so like I said, I did that for 8 years, a very long time. And so obviously as they got older, our routines changed. You know, they were in more serious athletics. They did swim meets. We experienced so many things together. And along the way, obviously when you're a nanny, and parents now, if you're a parent, you know how hard it is to trust people with your children, and people who you know that they're going to be in good hands with. So they would constantly like tell their friends about me. I would take care of like them and their friends all together while the parents went out. Like, it was such a good situation for me. I met so many nice, kind people throughout that experience, and they really trusted me, but because I loved their kids like they were my kids. So that's where my kind of love for children came. So when I left high school, I knew I wanted to do physical therapy, and that's why I went to college for kinesiologies, because that's the first kind of steps to it all. But part of the reason I wanted to do physical therapy was because of my best friend Bonique that I told you I lived with. She is paraplegic, and so going to physical therapy with her and seeing her, you know, crush all these milestones, I was so freaking proud of her, and that just made me feel something. Like, that's what drove me. So that's the decision that I decided to make. Well, along the way, I realized I freaking love kids. Like, I love kids. And so I was working as a nanny, but then once I was done with school, so the whole plan was initially, as far as being a nanny goes, I was with them until I finished college. And then once I finished college, it was up to me what I wanted to do or how I could work my schedule out with them. Well, once college was over, I realized just how much I was unqualified to do literally anything. The thing about being a first generation college student is you don't know what you need. I didn't know what college hours were. I didn't know which classes I needed to take to get me qualified for the positions I wanted to be in. Like, I just thought, I went to school, I applied to grad school, I went and I finished. Like, I just thought that's what it was. And that's not what it is. I had the hardest time transitioning after college, trying to feel like I'm supposed to have my life together and I literally know nothing. I'm not qualified to be a physical therapist. I'm not qualified to be literally anything. I could do like personal training, but then I would still have to take like a board test for personal training. I did not want to do personal training. I couldn't even be like a coach because I hadn't taken like education. So I minored in psychology. Like I could literally do nothing with my bachelor's degree in kinesiology as far as kinesiology went. So that was a fun realization for me after college. So then I was in this position to where I could either gain experience, quit my job where I'm making really good money, I have the best life in the entire world, quit that and be a physical therapy technician for like $9 an hour, working full time. And but I would be gaining experience and I just really didn't want to do that. It was so hard for me to leave the money and the atmosphere and the experience that I was in to go and do that. I was just way too spoiled where I was at and hard-headed at the time because I didn't want to leave. And they weren't gonna make me leave. Like I was theirs as long as the situation worked. So I chose not to do that. I chose to continue to be a nanny. And again, I freaking loved it. So I did work before college was over. I worked at the Little Gym. So what the Little Gym is, it's a gymnastics. So you teach children gymnastics, but you also teach them, like I taught 3 months until 3 years. Obviously there's just different classes for the different ages, but I was like exercising babies and like teaching them sign language and singing them songs. And I freaking love that job so much. Told you, I absolutely love children. And I feel like that's part of the reason why Liliana was so advanced is because of my experience at the Little Gym. The 3-year-olds, you could have a class up to like, I think the most I taught was like 6 kids, but I was really good at like the babies and then under 3. So under 3, it's a parent and like a mommy and me kind of class, but obviously dads are there too. I love that job. We would sing songs and play and blow bubbles, and I did parties on the weekends for them. And the parties there were such a freaking blast. If you need a party place for your child, I highly recommend the Little Gym. The people who work there handle absolutely everything and you handle nothing. You bring decorations if you want to and food. And that's it. They cover games, they cover certain party supplies, they set up the decorations for you, they break down the decorations for you. So I was doing that, and then they would tip you really well. So I was working out in Stone Oak where they have lots of money out there, and I would get really good tips because I absolutely loved leading these parties. So I was also doing that for a while and I absolutely loved it. And that is when I got pregnant with Liliana. So I was pregnant with Liliana, very pregnant, still doing like cartwheels and front flips and still being a nanny. And so the thing with me, with the nanny position, I was like, I don't know how this is going to affect my jobs. So I obviously was going on maternity leave. So I let the Little Gym know, I don't know if I'm going to be back after, childbirth, but I might be. And with the nanny position, they told me like, kids are portable. Bring her with you. She can come. She's not going to disrupt anything that's happening. She's not going to take away from anything that's happening, because at the time the kids were like 13 and 15. So Liliana disrupted nothing. We still went to practice per usual. She was out at the soccer field. She was asleep when on the car rides. It was literally the perfect situation to bring Liliana into. I was able to still work. I was able to still bring her to work with me. Saying it out loud, as much as you guys have seen how hard my life has been a real blessing too. When I tell you that I'm able to take my child with me to work and still bring home the money that I'm bringing home, I freaking loved it. That's what happened once Liliana was born. I was nannying with the same family up until I made my very first video on YouTube. Once COVID happened, that is what kind of threw a wrench into everything. The kids weren't going to school, so they didn't need me to be there for literally anything. Now they were like 15 and 17. The oldest was going off to college. The youngest was still, in school, but not really in school because school was canceled because of COVID. Nobody knew what was happening. I was home with the girls. And also when Gamila came too, I was still taking both of them to work with me, or I would take one and leave the other with Horace, or whatever the situation was, we worked it out. So then after that happened, life was on pause. Nobody was doing anything. I was still technically like working for them. I honestly, you guys, complete transparency, was still getting paid to be a nanny while I was not working, but they called called me and told me like I'm still in the budget. They didn't want me to be in a position to where we couldn't afford anything, or Horace wasn't working and I wasn't working. They didn't want to ever put me in a position. So that's why I tell you, I'm forever grateful that this family was put into my life. So I was still technically a nanny throughout the entire pandemic, even though I wasn't working. Like, I know it's crazy to think and to comprehend, but that's what the situation was. You know, obviously I didn't want to ever take advantage of that situation. So we talked about like what are my end game to look like. The youngest was actually in my wedding, and after that was kind of the last time we were, I don't know, together, and we meet up for lunch and do things together still. Like, that's still my heart and my soul. But that was kind of the end of that chapter for me, was my wedding. Yeah, that's how that ended, and it was beautiful. I wouldn't have changed literally anything about it. So then the kid's mom, she said she still had some things for me to do, and I said, say less, I'm listening. Let me know this journey she was going on, and she needed help with like inventory and things like that. So right now that's what I do. I help her with inventory. That's why the other day when I was driving, I was like, Liliana's now in school. She's 4 years old. Camila is 2. Horace is literally the best, most understanding man you could ever possibly imagine. He will do anything to make me happy, and whatever I want that makes me happy, he wants that for me. And he's so super supportive, and told me like, obviously he doesn't want me to have to work, but if I want to work, he's not going to object to that or say anything, as long as we can figure it out with the girls and our schedules and things like that. He's completely for it. So I don't know, that's kind of where we are right now. And I really don't know if I want to pursue physical therapy thing that I should have been doing this entire time, or like continue taking care of children, which I absolutely love. I don't know. That's where I'm at, and there's literally no end to this story. That's pretty much everything. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like this is a chapter in my life, and yeah, YouTube is great, and I am, you know, I do make money from YouTube, but it's not at all the type of money you think it is. It's very sporadic, but it's nowhere near anything that you can make a living off of. I'm going to be dipping into my Tati palette, and I'm so freaking sad. Did you guys hear the news about Tati Beauty? Tati Beauty is over. She's not coming back. And this palette, I love this palette so freaking much. Nothing compares to this formula. To this mirror was the part of the reason I got this palette, because this mirror is so luxurious. Like, it's everything to me. So I'm going to do my eyeshadow really quick, and I'll probably be right back. Hold please. All right, so that's where we're at right now. I also don't know if I want to like continue pursuing like the social media thing. I am no way, shape, or form saying that I'm like leaving YouTube or like stopping anything that I'm doing now. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't know if I should pursue something in social media, since I do have this platform. I am very comfortable in front of a camera with you guys. I have done brand deals. I can try to build my platforms, and I don't know if I should. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And that's just a very honest statement as to where I'm at and what I'm doing. So yeah, and that's my life. Like, as much as I love doing this, I just feel like I could be doing so much more, and I feel like I have an entire bachelor's degree. Student loan debt that's going to have to be paid. Student loans were kind of paused during the whole pandemic, but now that the pandemic's over, I just feel like life is starting back up, and I kind of don't know where I'm supposed to be. And that's what started this entire thought process, and that's why we're sitting here, because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I've never ever in my lifetime wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that was never the journey I wanted for myself. I just feel like it all happened so fast. Where did the past 4, 5, 8 years go? Like, I don't know what happened. And this might all sound very privileged to you guys, and I never want to come off as such. I've just always kind of fallen into places that I was genuinely supposed to be, and I know that that's what will happen if you work a full-time job, you're a full-time mom, or you're a single mom, or you're doing things on your own. You're freaking phenomenal. I understand how privileged I was to have the job that I had and be able to put myself through college, as much of a struggle as I was, and I really didn't have anybody to fall back on. I always had myself to fall back on. I always knew I had to get it done regardless of what that looked like, and I just so happened to fall into a position that was ideal for me and my situation at the time. So now, if you have any thoughts, recommendations, things that you've been through that you want to share in the comment section down below, I would really appreciate that. that. I would really appreciate it if you also have a very expensive degree and are doing nothing with it, what your option was or what you decided to do. And that's another thing, I did look back into going back to school for physical therapy. The program is super competitive. Oh, that's lovely. I actually really did try to get back into school, and then they told me that school was like 8 to 5 and you wouldn't be making any money. And at the time I was still working as being a nanny, and going to school from 8 to 5 right now just is not very ideal for me because of Liliana and Camila, and then you still have to pay to go to school. I don't know, I just feel like it's very up in the air and what I want to do, and I can do a million thousand things. It's just, what do I want to do and where do I want to be and where do I see myself? Do I see myself in a physical therapy doctor's office? Like, do I see myself being a nanny? Do I see myself on this social media journey? Maybe for somebody else at first and then for myself? I have no idea what I'm doing. So that was the purpose of this entire video, is to let you know I'm kind of a hot mess right now. I will still be uploading every Wednesday. I will still be here. I will still be on Instagram. I will still, you know, be doing the things that I have been doing, but I just wanted to let you guys know where I was. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is because I never want you guys to compare your life or what you're doing or the situation you're in to people you see on the internet, because I never want to seem like I have it all or I don't have it all together, have no idea what I'm doing half the time. I just kind of throw myself into situations and make the best of it. And please don't ever compare you or your situation to other people that you see on the internet. It's usually not what it seems it is. I mean, look at the Ace family. They just got kicked out of their house. Tati lost her beauty line. Never compare yourself to what's happening on the internet because you really don't know what the situation is. I'm gonna use my bougie fan and y'all can talk about me if you want to, but I like it. I'm just going to throw some lip gloss on and I think I'm done. All right, you guys, that's all for today's video. I know I didn't really leave you anywhere. We didn't really solve anything here, but I just really needed to talk to you guys about what's happening and get your input and let me know what you think. Don't hold back in the comments. I know I'm sensitive, but I can take it, I promise. Just let me know your thoughts. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you next Wednesday. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye. Drinking hot coffee, I promise you're in the right place for you to, ow! Almost broke my nail. Okay, I have a nail appointment at 12 and it's 10:58. Hold on, my foot's asleep. Oh, somebody's here. Do I need to fill in my eyebrows? Yes. The journey. Something is very glittery on my finger. Do you see this? What is that? Where did that come from? Oh, I have glitter everywhere.